All right. Good morning, good afternoon, proctors. But I'm hoping that you're seeing this the day before testing day. We're hoping that you see this the day before testing day. So I'm here with Jonna Henry.
Good morning.
And we're just going to walk through some of the logistics. We felt like if we did a quick video for you and shared that out, that might be a bit better than us coming together for another meeting, which I don't think that we need because many of you have gone through this process before. We will also state that if you feel like there's some questions that you have after you go through this video and this training, you still have outstanding questions, you can go ahead and reach out to us directly, and we'll include the best way to contact us at the end of the video. So I'm gonna let Jonna start off by just walking you through your assignments and exactly which rooms you'll have and which groups of students you'll be working with.
So if you look to the left of this beautifully colored chart here, you will see the last name to know where you will need to be starting at 7:30 in the morning. You're gonna wanna report to room 217A to pick up your proctor boxes, as well as there will be breakfast served for everyone who is involved in proctoring, floating, or just helping throughout the day. From 7:55 to 8:40, you will need to make sure there are 4 of you who will be placed in the auditorium. Your duty in the auditorium is to make sure that our junior students are going to be in the back of the auditorium, still eating the extended breakfast. Voice levels are going to need to be to a minimum, and they should not be interacting with any of the students in the front of auditorium because they still will be holding late room in there. So your main duties are to make sure that students stay in their designated areas and are quietly eating breakfast before they are sent to their proctor rooms. At 8:10, everyone should be on their way. By 8:10, everyone should be in their location to set up in their proctor room, going through the details in your boxes. You will have instructions. You will have plastic bags for the students' phones. Students are going to come into the rooms at 8:40. You will see those highlighted in yellow. You are going to be in a large group room. Those highlighted in green, you are a small group proctor. The highlight in purple, that is the displacement room. So if you are a teacher who has more than 11th grade students, maybe you have a mix of students 11th and 12th, your students will report to room 206. There will be someone in that room all day, as well as if there's a disciplinary issue, we will also be sending those students to room 206.
So Jonna, what you're saying is any teacher who is proctoring for us this day, their students will report to the purple displacement rooms throughout the day, and there will be somebody there who will be serving as a teacher for them, like
yes.
a teacher of record. So room 206 for displaced students all throughout the day.
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of the day, let me, just a distinction. The main library is when the first library, if you're coming from the marble hallway, it's the first library door to your right. The multimedia library is if you walk directly down the hallway. As soon as you make the right, it's going to be the second library that has the computers on top of the desk, just so you guys can designate which is which. At the end of the day, there will be a few of you who will be going into the gym. You need to be in the gym by 12:40. That is when the students are able to be dismissed out of their classes and head down to the gym, where there will be basketballs and things that they can be active for just a little while, and they will be their bagged lunches as they are walking out the building. They will not be given lunches before they leave out the door, and that is to alleviate any issues we might have with extra cleanup for our housekeeping staff.
So what about proctors who are going to the gym, but they have their boxes? Should they drop off their boxes on the way to the gym or take their boxes to the gym with them?
Proctors that are going to the gym, a floater will come around and pick up your box. They will count everything with you. So one of the 3 floaters will be there before it is time for you to leave the classroom, so that you are not dragging any of your things with you to the gym.
Awesome. All right, so our next section just basically highlights the number of students who are testing, the testing rooms, the general versus smaller testing rooms, and then our total testing rooms are listed here. This will be posted throughout the building today, and then also will be available to students by way of a slide in the morning during morning entry. But this actual information of where all the students are going to be going is going to be shared out in advance. Jonna, you spoke to a decent amount of the timing that's listed here. Is there anything that you want to reiterate? I see here that there's a 10-minute transition time from 8:40 to 8:50 that proctors are welcoming the students into the classroom.
Yes, you want to make sure that you are standing on the threshold, just making sure students are not just in the hallway talking, but they're moving expeditiously into the classroom so that you can get started with the directions and the students can get started taking the test.
Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure that there is a brief slideshow for proctors to run through with their students in the morning, just as an orientation of the do's and don'ts for testing day. It's also very important that the attendance is being taken in the attendance tracker that you'll be able to click on this hyperlink for and get that in by 9 o'clock so that we know which students are not present for testing that day. If you have time during this 8:40 to 8:50 window to start doing that even earlier, that would be great, but we recognize that we'll be getting students settled and beginning to label cell phones and things like that. The rest of the flow for the day is listed here, and it should be fairly easy to understand based off of how it's listed out here. I will say that keep in mind the timing is very specific. We want to make sure that we start and end each section during that designated time period. There's also time in here for the proctor manual just so that you have enough time to read through it and that you don't feel like you're rushing. The one thing that I will say is in regards to the very first break, which is really the only big break, I guess in a way we're considering the reading of the proctor manual a break from the actual testing, but their real break is from 11 o'clock to 11:10. A couple of things are really important for students to make sure that are happening during this time and this time only.
So please remind students that the break will only last 10 minutes, that the test is going to begin on time. So the last bathroom break that you should let students leave out should be about 11:05 or 11:06. Students will be allowed to go to the bathrooms more than one at a time. We're going to put bathroom passes inside of your boxes so that students can be able to get to the bathroom and get back within that 10-minute time frame. They should only use the second floor bathrooms. There will be an adult posted at each door during the break, which I will talk to those specific floaters to make sure that there's someone in attendance so that students aren't playing in the hallways.
And if a student decides that they want to go to the bathroom outside of this break window, they can. They just need to understand that they will not be given any more time for that portion of the test. I would also say to just send the students out one at a time. During that break, not during that break, but in the one-off cases where students are leaving, let's say maybe during the actual section of the exam, it would be important for you to have your actual teacher hall pass with you so that you can give them that to use in addition to the proctor hall pass, just so there's no confusion in the hallway as to where students are coming from. As you can see here, we have the reading section. We go straight through from after that first break into reading, a proctor manual reading, and then the science section. And then at that point in time, the test is actually going to be over, in which we're going to start to transition students down from out of their rooms back to, but into the gym.
At 12:40.
At 12:40.
And so, as I said before, bagged lunches will be distributed to students as they are leaving the building. You will know the 3 proctors that are assigned to the gym. You will get direction on when students are able to be dismissed. So please do not let students leave out of the building before anyone has given you a directive to do so.
Yes, and then for any student receiving extended time, that would be for all of our small groups only. We will communicate how we're going to collapse those groups so that they can continue to work in the multimedia library and that they'll have their time needed. I will say though, in times past, even the small groups were, they were finished at the end of the day. So they can be escorted to or ushered down to the gym as well. So we're just about done. There are some do's and don'ts which you'll have in your actual printouts that'll be in your boxes along with this schedule. You'll have it emailed to you in advance. it's just really important that we are making sure that students are held accountable to completing the test. If they have their heads down, we're just going to encourage them through the test. You can also reach out to a floater if you're having any complications. But absolutely, any disruption that happens during the test, students should be removed from the testing environment. So you should contact a floater, Ms. Henry or myself, as soon as possible so that we can move the student from that room and into another area. We're going to treat this testing day just as if it is the actual ACT exam. Ms. Henry, do you want to just speak to the late students real quick?
Yes, so students who arrive later in the day, they will be picked up from the late room by myself, Mr. Chaplin, or one of the floaters, and escorted to their correct testing room. If the testing section has not begun, if a student arrives after testing has begun, then the front desk will be notified to call me directly to ensure that they are directed to their proper testing rooms. But no student is going to be able to walk into testing in the middle of a test. And students are well aware that if they are late for the test, that they will be docked points.
All right. So as we said, there's going to be some information given to you about for the student welcome portion of the kickoff for the day. We have information in here around cell phones and the timing, breakfast and bathroom policy, but I think we've gone over the main areas of the day that you will be most concerned with. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and my number is 610-638-9957. And then you also see Ms. Henry's number is here, 267-373-7050. Also, email for those one-off quick questions would work well if you want to respond back whole group, if you think it's something for the good of the group, to the email that was sent out to the proctors only. That would be great. Anything else?
No, nothing else. Like I said, if you have any questions, you know how to reach us. And thank you again for helping us with this.